Don't forget Zoom recording. We didn't have it last week.
Yes.
So Rick, just so you know, so my thing saying it's in practice session, start webinar, do I need to click that to start the recording?
So I started it there.
Now be heard, Rick, so I'm now going to start streaming to NCG, so you know.
Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge, in a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GANS plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced, energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered, which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection, as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists, and healthcare centers. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information.
Hello and welcome everyone to the 385th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for June 17th, 2021. Just a second, I have to get my image back up here and live stream, spotlighted for everyone. Here we go. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond. I'll be a host today. And we're lucky to have Dean at the KF TV studios as a host as well. And I think we're ready to present today's workshop with Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, who will be leading today's workshop as usual for the last 384 Knowledge Seekers workshops. Hello, Mr. Keshe, are you ready to begin?
Yes, good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever or whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers of the Keshe Foundation worldwide. We welcome you back to another session of learning and teaching, as we are all seekers of the knowledge of the universe. And in one way or another, at different levels, we learn something about it in time. As Rick said, today is the last day, more or less, that the Keshe Foundation TV will operate out of its temporary position. And from next week, Keshe Foundation TV moves to its permanent position in the city of Linz. And from there on, the television channel station within the next month or so will be ready to broadcast live sessions with participants from different parts of the world. We have moved into the new position, and it'll take us some time to open the exhibition first to selected few, and then in the coming weeks to public again. The enhancement unit has been moved to position, and hopefully by the time we open up, there will be much more development. It's a beautiful position. It's a beautiful station. At the same time, exhibition center and the factories of the Keshe Foundation hopefully will be in the same building, and we'll see the growth of the Keshe Foundation technology and space technology within the nation of Austria. We have invested a lot in this organization in Austria, and as the headquarters of the Keshe Foundation, we have attained one of the most prestigious buildings in the city, which literally you cannot miss when you enter the city. It's a well-known site, and it has taken by will of what I call every possible way for it to be part of our what we call upcoming structure. On the other hand, today we're getting ready, and partially we started teaching up in the Keshe Foundation in a manner of preparing mankind for travel into space by June the 6th, 2022. I'm returning to Iran in the next few days, hopefully with a lot of pleasure, with a team of the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers. We have put a team together that when we return to Iran, we present the technology as an international organization. A number of knowledge seekers will join us, and from all corners of the world, which we have invited to join us to be part of the presentation team of the Keshe Foundation in Tehran. Then at the same time, we endeavor to increase this presentation. Keshe Foundation will take its position as an international organization and leading peace works and everything else. We have assured the authorities and the governments that we have enough knowledge and technology to make sure the humanity will reach Moon and Mars and beyond in 22. In so many ways, is when we reach this point of understanding and technology, we have to understand what we are there to head for, what are we there to see, what is the expectation of us. In a way, we are the ones who've been sitting in the mirror box looking at ourselves, where the people outside have been watching us in this mirror box. It's very much, it's been a one-way mirror for them to see us and not for us to see them, as we were not mature. We mature mankind into understanding of totality of the knowledge of the creation in so many ways in the coming weeks and months. The Education Center in Tehran will become the center point for many activities. All the Iranian embassies across the planet will become teaching centers, will become where the knowledge will be taught, knowledge of the space and technology. In so many ways, we will use the Iranian embassies across the planet to become center of peace, education, space technology, and with it to guarantee knowledge seekers across the planet will have access to the totality of the knowledge at the same time simultaneously, knowing that what we call knowledge seekers will be the scientists, politicians, diplomats, and the rest of the what we call the planet. In so many ways, we have to start opening the door. On the other side of the door, the party has been going on for billions of years. The peaceful nation, happy nation of the universe has been living the life. In a coming time, when we open this door for man to have a peep through, and it'll take him thousands of years to understand it in a physical dimension, what do we expect? What do we see? These are part of the teachings which will take shape or form. We have brought you from nanotechnology to understanding of your matters and energies, to understanding the structure of how you communicate in physical dimension with those who are the physical dimensions of the universe. If you go back to the time of Maleta, They start teaching you the science that you can communicate if you find those who understand the visual understanding. And on the other hand, in this past 4 years, 5 years, we have brought you and educated in the dimension of the soul of non-verbal communication, interacting in the dimensions of the fields of the universe, not in a matter state. What do we expect to see? What's the expectation of them for us while they've been watching us? How we react? How shall we see? Would we, the first encounters on the levels of the physical dimensions of what you call UFOs, or those who are within us to manifest themselves as us? Or do we, through understanding of the elevation of the soul of the man, we communicate at the soul level with those who have not taken the dimension of physicality and are of higher order? How do we communicate with those who are in a transmutation position between the matter state of their lives and the energy cycles? And like us, as we attain new knowledge, new understanding, they can transmute in a way at the energy level and the matter level. What is the expectation from us? What are we supposed to see? And to what extent, how many of us, or so many of us, will see what? How many of us will become enlightened to be at the strength of the soul that sees the dimension of the energies of the universe communication? And how many of us are at that level of understanding matter state transmutation? Or do we achieve a level of understanding that both sides can see both dimensions? One of the first jobs of the Keshe Foundation in Tehran will be addressing the world leaders in understanding what is to come and demonstrating to them what is expected of them to lead their nations. In a simple way, we address the world leaders to understand what to expect from the new encounters in a proper way. In the past, a number of excursions has taken place with no success because mankind and the world leaders never understood. And when they understood part of it, immediately the entourage, the scientists went to abuse it to give them a better position. Whenever man was given the knowledge, was to spread across humanity for mankind to benefit by it, not for individual and certain groups and families and nations. This way, we will address the world leaders at the same time, that they understand what is to come. In the short time to come, we will run and will have an international heads of nations in Tehran. We will request this from the Iranian leadership to bring this position that world leaders will be invited to Iran to be shown the first phase of interaction of the world leaders with the universal community in different dimensions, where they can prepare their nations, they can prepare their forces, they can prepare the understanding of the whole totality that will change the course. In so many ways, we always, when we invited people to our nations, we showed the best sites, the best sceneries, the best hotels. This time, we show them the best knowledge of the universe. In so many ways, world leaders will come to understand the situation which is risen. Expansion and extension in knowledge of man in the science and technology brings about the need for unification of interaction, unification of understanding the totality of what man needs to do to reach that point, bringing balance, first of all, the places and what we call the forces of man to be equal in knowledge, in food, and everything else. We envisage a short-term plan internationally between the nations, heads of states, to start planning out how the African nations, the Chinese, the Americans, the Iranians, the Arabs, and the Europeans all become to benefit from the same technology at the same time. That with this allows us to eradicate many of the problems we have created ourselves as human on ourselves. Then the heads of states will be shown and will interact with universal leaders. This is in our plan in 2022. If we achieve unison between the world leaders and what we call on the international level. Everything is in plan, everything is in motion, and on our arrival in Tehran, you will understand how the position has changed and how the advancement of technology brought about in Iran will bring the next phase of humanity industrial revolution. In a way, we open the books of the knowledge through the understanding of peace and elevation of the soul of the man. It's for mankind and the leaders of the world to decide the next step. I'm due in Tehran in a handful of days. And at the same time, if everything achieved as we plan to achieve by end of this month on my return to Tehran, the first phases of the interaction of the universal community with humanity in the first phase with the Iranian leaders will start. We are there to start the process of world peace. We are there to start the process of what we call unification of man as one race, one planet, one nation. In so many ways, everything for this has been said by the Iranian Keshe Foundation team in the background with the relentless work of those who are there to see that Iran will shine as a nation of peace. At the same time, we open all our nuclear centers to all the world leaders to see. As I said, the sanctions which is imposed on Iran become sanctions on themselves on not learning the new technology. Those who sanction us will sanction themselves from the knowledge and technology. In a way, if they see the nuclear industry as an ultimate advance, it means they have to stay there till they see that the nuclear industry is no advancement, but is another way to understanding the work of the creation and the creator. In so many ways, the path of peace knows no armies. The path of peace will show no resistance to understanding of the new knowledge. Those world leaders who have accumulated the wealth beyond by what we call betraying their nations while they were in power or while they are in power, they will be the first people who will be sent to the moon, to Mars, and to new systems. They saved it, they will spend it in a way of their time in the space. In a way, we do not promote destroying and eliminating those who have done wrong. We let them to be the leaders in the space. Let them see what they accumulated worth nothing, and at the same time, they are a good test bench for all of us to learn what will happen to human race in the space. They will learn to elevate their souls to understand that all the wealth they gathered has no value. At the same time, we make the world leaders who created more mayhem to be those who be the frontier runners into space technology. This is the way where we empty the animosity and hatred. At the same time, we give the man opportunity to understand more of the new technology. What do we do? How do we integrate? How do we interact? How do we live with those amongst us who've been part of the universal community and chose to be here amongst us and taking shape and dimension in our ways? How do we interact? What would be the socio-economical impact on this planet? Would we see the changes that will bring radical evolution in the society? Would we see that the nation's borders become irrelevant? Would we see that the armies which created to guard these borders become the armies of the nations to serve each other? Would we see humanity taking a new position? Today's teaching is mainly the interaction of the human race at the outset of the opening and prior to opening of the what we call passages and avenues to universal community. The reason for this is as we return to Iran, this will be on our agenda, bringing a new technology to the forehead, to the front line, and at the same time moving the whole of the Iranian scientists and government and the new elected government in Iran by tomorrow into leading the nations to peace, to new understanding of the science and technology. How do our leaders react, and how do knowledge seekers and the humanity will react when within coming weeks and months you are faced with those who you thought are humans, but they are friends and they are here. They dressed up like us to be part of us, to enjoy the presence of the physicality. You are the knowledge seekers. You are well trained. You are well understood. Think for yourself. What happened when now you have the new tools which will be open to you, and you see your neighbors, man on the street, the guy who delivered you electricity and the man who delivered your takeaway is not of the human race. What will your reaction be? You stand there puzzled, or would you stand admiring their beauty? When they know they are safe within the human race. When we go to space and we feel we are safe amongst them, do we see them as another food? Do we see them as another friend? Or would be factions in the human race that do not want to exploit this for their own benefit? You have to understand, we do not this time fight with guns and anything else. We interact with the soul of the man, which interacts with the brain of the man. In so many ways, what is your reaction? What happened to the man you lived with for years, or the woman you loved for so long, happened to be another one of them? What would be your feeling? What would be your interaction? What is your senses tells you? Would you accept them and embrace them? Or you feel, I was so inferior for such a long time, and he or she or the friend who I loved so much never told me they could see everything within me, but they said nothing about it. This will raise a lot of questions for humanity in the coming time. As humans, we'll question our own integrity. As humans, we will decide on the future of our lives, that those who we loved and we felt and we betrayed, or we loved and we kept, they were aware of all our emotions to our soul all the time. And through their grace, they kept silence. What would be the reaction of the human race when some of the world leaders in the what we call presidential palaces have been served by those who are not of the human race, but they never interfered? We are here as observers, not as interferers. We are here to live amongst man, to lead the man to succeed in his own path. How would we feel when some of our leaders find out that their partners, their ministers, the wives of their ministers, the head of armies, families have been part of the universal community and never interfered, but could see their emotion and could see their behavior through their soul? Then you understand how tolerant universal community has been for man to change in time. Many of you will try to justify. Many of you will try to understand the soul and the emotion. Many of you will try to be comprehensive about what you have done and what we do. Many of you who are of the origin of what we call universal community wonder how mankind will interact and react with you now that they understand who you are. In so many ways, as I travel the path of the deserts, the Saharas, and the mountains of this land for thousands of years, I've been witness to all these changes and seen many friends from the space being the same travelers, but they choose the path of the man. How would you react? How would you change your communication? Now that we bring the advanced technologies that makes you to see the other dimensions of the life in the universe, how would you react? We give you a vision through your dimension of your sight or soul. Which one do you recognize and which one would you believe? The spoken word of the physicality or the notion of understanding the thoughts of the soul? In the transmutation, you'll be aware of the two. You shall see what the soul says, and you shall see what the voice of the man says, and how the physicality will be. Which one would you set your position for and to be with? In so many ways, mankind has to be ready for one of the biggest changes in the cycle of humanity. Mankind has to be ready to understand what he has done to himself and to the others amongst him and amongst his society without interfering, and is still living the life, a passive life, where mankind starts to understand what is all this for. In so many ways, today's teaching is about you. Today's teaching is about every individual and every one of you to understand yourselves. In a way, is to understand how you will react in a coming time when you become passengers of the universe, or you will come to face in the dimension of physicality, in the dimension of the soul, with the passengers of the universe. What would be the outcome? Are they delicious to eat, or are they beautiful to greet? This is part of the understanding we try to promote in the coming months, that we prepare mankind as a whole to be ready for the first open encounters with the universal community. We do not want to make a circus of ourselves or them, but we want to make a circle that we are all included within it. We have to look within to understand what we have missed without. In so many ways, mankind is ready for the final encounter. Mankind is ready for final encounter with his own soul, and with it, a new insight to the cycle of creation. The cycle of understanding the totality of the work of what we call Creator. As I said, many of you and those who are from the deepest space and the universal community, Mitra is amongst us. And that has triggered the final phase of peace, not only on this planet, but amongst all the created things in the universe. In a way, as we say, the carbon is a common denominator within the structure of the man. Carbon of the creator's level of energy becomes a common denominator, messenger to all is created, that they move in the same dimension and direction. In so many ways, mankind has entered the final phase, where C12 and C14 work the same across is for man to decide which dimension he will take at which strength. You want to operate in the dimension of physicality, or you want to operate in the dimension of the energy fields of the soul of the universe. In so many ways, in past years, in bits and parts, in different ways, I have tried to teach you everything. And in so many ways, with understanding of the new technology, the old technologies becomes part of the understanding in the matter state when the man become the passengers of the universe. No race has been more physical than man. No race has been more evolved and involved with its own physicality than man. And then when you come in the depths of the universe, you come to the position of the interaction of the fields to become manifest in the matter states of the fields of the presence of the time and the space. You still will carry the memories that you learned from the physical dimension, from the time on earth, even be it from your ancestors. You will recall through the soul of the physicality the knowledge. And this knowledge will be valuable to you and those who you come in touch with. In a way, you all will understand. And in the time and position, you become what we call to the level of the prophets, who could see the physical understanding, but could not tell. But this time, through your physical understanding, you will tell, you will teach, and you bring the knowledge both of the physicality and the soul to those who you become the teacher of. The future of mankind is not just to be the souls to become the center suns and the stars, but they become the soul of the teachers through those stars and those conditions. But those who are in evolution and the cycle of the elevation from physicality to soul, and to understand more. You have to understand, we said many times before, mankind is not the last created kind. Due to evolution and interaction of the fields of the universe, forever a new cycle of lives will be created. From single cell, single energy packs, into multiple cycles of life. What impression your soul and the knowledge of physicality of the earth will make on those who you come in touch with. At what level? And in what message will you carry now that you have seen the pitfalls of war, destruction, and love and care as a human being? Be it by you yourself or through the dimension of the soul of the physicality. In so many ways, the soul of the messengers of the future of the universe, as the soul of the man embedded in, would take to them, to elevate them, to bring them through, and not let the race to be nomads like man for millions of years on this planet. In so many ways, what does your knowledge teach us? And how much can you transmute and transform with you, amongst you, and in the dimension of understanding of yourself? We taught you how to communicate with those who are physical dimensions. But now, how do you communicate with those who are in the level of the energy, in the dimension of the strength of the soul? What is the outcome? How you will handle it? What would be interesting for us, how would the heads of states coming to Tehran will consider their position before arrival? Or how many of them will turn up knowing that the position has come to an end? Knowing that there will be a collective leadership and not individual leadership. Understanding that the process of the enhancement, the soul of the man, will be the step for the totality, not the crowns, not the presidential palaces, and not the name. the coming weeks as we teach much more in depth, as we will show new tools and equipments that the man whose physicality can create and understand the position of his soul and the extension of his soul. What would mankind do? What is interesting is who would like to be the first people who travel through the dimension of the soul across the universe, across this universe, or the universe. We expect the world leaders and those who call themselves king to put their crown down and leave their palaces. And in so many ways, mankind to become as of one. We have endeavored to do this several times, but never succeeded because the dimension of physicality did not allow the soul, which is entrapped within it, to take hold. But this time is the reverse. Proper work of the unified leadership through Universal Council will replace the United Nations has failed miserably. The work of Keshe Foundation operation through what we call one common denominator will replace the World Bank and the rest which has been set to engage and enslave man. New structures will be set that mankind will be released of the shackles of the present time. We'll release technologies that will release dimensions of the energy fields directly needed for every need of man. We have released the first phase of the 100% free plasma technology to the Iranian scientists that was presented in a way to the Iranian authorities in the past week. We will release energy systems that replaces the new nuclear technology of Iran with a new plasma technology. In so many ways, I explained this to you many times in the past, that in Accra, we achieved 100% power supply. Now, the same technology has been transferred to the Iranian scientists in the past week and will be used by the Iranian scientists to produce 100% energy powers of the Iran. And with it, we show we have no need for nuclear industry. And the first phase of the world peace will start. We have to go this way. That step by step, we bring the nations into power of understanding the reality about plasma technology that is the essence of the creation of the soul of the man. You cannot jump between the matter state and the plasma. As I said, the power supplies, structure of the new power supplies to supply energy across this planet for every single man has been developed and will be released in due course through the educational systems which we have set up. You always had it. You always had a technology to work within the structure of the soul of the man. To be able to transmute energies, you have to work with the structure of the plasma and not matter states, what you call electric current. In this process, mankind will transfer one to the other and transmute from one to another. But the main question of the teaching of today is, how would you react to those who will become manifest to you in the coming weeks and months as not a human, but of the passengers of the universe who have taken our ship? How would we understand? How would we see? How would we enjoy them? What is your reaction to them? This is the main concern for us in not allowing the second cycle of mayhem through introduction of new technology and the new vision and understanding of realizing the presence of the others amongst us. We have seen in the human race in the United States in the past few months, the color of the skin has become a scapegoat to suffocate and die. We've seen in the United Kingdom, racism of the color of the skin and nationality has become another. We have seen in the United States, being a Chinese and Asian origin now has become a crime as they created the crime themselves. We have seen people from Myanmar crossing borders because of the way of belief. How would our leaders and us as individuals react to the new cycle of understanding and seeing of the universal community? Would we respect them to understand the same as the knowledge of our soul, or do them to show us how they can fly and do other things in physical dimension? We become subordinate, which was the whole purpose of these teachings, not to have. A few shining lights in the sky does not give superiority to knowledge and technology. And understanding part of this does not give you superiority to the others. What would be your reaction? It's time to think and decide in the coming times as we release new technologies that allows mankind to become aware of the strength of his soul, and at the same time gives the man the vision to see those who is amongst them. As I said many times, our planet is like a football team of hooligans which runs through a city, creating mayhem when it's only in that city, in that village. Our planet Earth is a moving structure across the city of the universe. We travel across the solar system, and we travel across this galaxy within our solar system. And we are like a bunch of uncontrollable hooligans who have done whatever they like, while the rest outside have been watching in their cameras. What are these bunch of hooligans out? In so many ways, would you like to be known as a bunch of hooligans? Or do you see yourself as one? In behavior and in soul? What will be the response of humanity now that the doors of this castle of earth, of ignorance, of knowledge, will be open to understand the knowledge of the universe? Would our religious leaders still claim to be, or would our world leaders claim to have, and would those who call themselves king are the king of what I call ignorance? Why should one man be higher than that? Why should one being be higher than that? When you know, in the essence of the soul, we have access to all the knowledge of the creation through understanding and operation of the fields of the universe. I waited a long time to bring this on the table prior to our move to Tehran and the start of the world peace negotiations with the other nations through science and technology. There was no better nation than Iran to lead this, as it's been under sanction for knowledge. Knowledge in exchange for peace is a prerequisite of Iranian operation and throughout our embassies across this planet in the coming weeks. We call not on individuals, but the totality of human race to understand the new game. There is no sign language to show, only understanding the operation of the soul of the mind. Only the totality of the knowledge which has been given to man and man has chosen to ignore. The fine balance between soul of physicality and the soul of the man, that each one can have his turn as he wishes. An end to the cycle of a schizophrenic life of the man, which has created such a, what we call, active creature to cover the other. To cover the existence of the soul within, the physicality has become that hyperactive child that no one will know what's hidden within. It is the responsibility of the world leaders in the coming time to lead the nations and to lead the humanity to the path of peace and understanding of unification of the leadership of this planet through understanding the soul of the man. We shall see in the coming time the fall of many crowns, and many religious leaders will submit to the knowledge of the Creator, as they cannot be a messenger when the Creator is present by himself. In so many ways, man will understand the knowledge of the Creator and his presence through his knowledge and through his understanding of the creation and the Creator. And the question goes back on again. How would you react when you have been given a new vision to see a new dimension? Do you know how to deal with it? Or would you like the new, what I call moving cameras on the glasses? When you play games, you think it's so real that you fall off the table and chair without knowing that there's actually nothing there but the mirage of the videos and films. In so many ways, mankind has to become wise and become aware of the existence of his own beauty of two dimensions of physicality and the soul. An interaction between one and the other, where the physicality takes its energies from the soul, and on the other hand, gives a dimension of physicality for the soul to gain knowledge of the universe at the time of presence of physicality. That was the purpose of creating the physical dimension, to enjoy and learn another dimension, to be the master of two. There is still more for mankind to learn. It's not just only the dimension of the soul and the dimension of the soul of physicality. There are other dimensions of life, which when man's become mature, will be taught and understand through operation of the universal community. The soul of the man, the existence of the soul of physicality is 2 of the 7. How would mankind handle the others as he arises? In so many ways, the whole knowledge of existence will be shared amongst the man equal, but it's the man who will decide the level of understanding and comprehension of totality. In so many ways, we give access to every knowledge possible. It's you who has to understand which access, which path leads you to where and for what purpose. As I've said in the past, when we put dust of iron on a piece of paper and we see how the fields of this iron will take shape. And in so many ways, what ingredients each one has to the other. In so many ways, mankind will see a two-dimensional life where he will create the totality, where he will understand the reality in dimensions which he decides in a coming time and space. Where this, if you understand the depth of it, would lead to the Father, where in fact it came from the Mother. Where of the higher strength will lead to the Creator, where it came through the created. This will become the cornerstone of the knowledge of the man. And then, through the strength of the soul, you have to decide which path you want to take. Or have you managed to reach the point of the elevation that you could live amongst any? But you've got to be aware that one thing will surely exist in totality. There's always two. As you manifest as a giver, you still take. As you manifest as a taker, you're still giving. As one is the beginning of the other, and the other is the beginning of one. Mankind has to understand the new evolution in the world of science. A new change. Transformation from matter state and physicality to understanding of the energies of the universe without physicality, but in the dimension of the strength of the soul and the fields of the creation. What would your reaction be? What would be your cycle of life be? Would mankind create the next generation to be subordinate to the knowledge of the universe? Or would mankind create the next generation to be equal to the knowledge of the universe? Would we put our children through schools to teach them about 1 and 2s and ions and Christianity and Judaism? Or would we teach our children of the future through the soul that all is the same and all equal, depend on what you want to use and in what direction? in my return to Iran, will take the Iranian nation to the time of Ahura Mazda and Mitra, where the essence of the creation came, and we were proud to be all the same, in respect of color and race. In so many ways, mankind has to learn. The Creator is within us, and understanding of it is our job and not somebody else's to explain. We have to go through this phase. That as we give you a new vision through new understanding and technologies, everyone you see does not become a prophet, a messenger, another structure that you think just because they know more, they can subordinate you to their will. And this is the purpose of these teachings, as we said from the very outset of all the teachings. Take mankind to be equal to the others, not by sending you to the universities of the universe, but teaching you how you've been structured and how your life has existed. That is part of this totality. The time of peace has started. And the time of bringing the nations to be one will start upon my return to Tehran. We go back to the land of Mitra and Ahura Mazda, and we bring the 3 points to it. We will talk good, we will think good, we will act good, and we will teach this to all the nations on this planet. Through the share of technology, irrespective of the color and race, as the religions will have no room, as they all confirm to be the same. In so many ways, mankind is ready for that final crossing the line. And on accepting that, the knowledge of the universe will be open to man in one go. Knowledge of giving and sharing will take precedence over the knowledge of killing and what we call exclusivity. This is how we will open the door of knowledge. And as knowledge seekers, you will carry the same across your nations. In so many ways, the world peace is part of the piece of the work which we set out to do. And we have achieved, and we are on our target to achieve. I think, and I hope, I have managed to convey the message what is to come in the coming weeks from beautiful city of Tehran. In so many ways, every city on this land will become beautiful as we all share equal. There shall be no hunger, and there shall be no homelessness. There shall be no sick people to be abused by their name and the name of the virus. In so many ways, the new technology will teach the soul of the man that the physicality is protected by it, and like the atmosphere around this planet, shields it from everything to come, but at the same time absorbs all the beauty of the universe to create the physicality of this planet by conversion of its energy to the matter state as we see. The question goes back to every single one of you. What would be your reaction? Or would you go to the level of the soul that the dimension of the reaction of physicality will not count, as you'll be ashamed of what you have done to yourselves and to the others in the dimension of physicality? Is the friend across the road from other dimension of the universe that has seen all my wrongdoings and is kept to his own silence? Not out of pity, but out of the shame to tell what the man has done to himself. In so many ways, we sow the seed of thoughts of getting ready for humanity to enter the universal community as of today's teaching. The first tentative steps will be taken. As I said, those world leaders who take the step to walk in the path of the peace and unification of human race shall be introduced to universal community. That through their support and understanding, the nations will be supported to find peace nation, one nation, and balance for all is created. It's the time where the science of the created becomes secondary to the science of the created. And in a way, we take charge of our own destiny in the dimension of the life in the universe and not on this planet. Unfortunately, we have no machines for this, and unfortunately, there are no schools I can send you to, and no special teachings in the Keshe Foundation Space Institute for you to learn. You have to learn to go within your soul, to go within and find the knowledge of the Creator. Thank you very much. You are tuned in the background are ready to go for a break. And we'll come back to see how we share knowledge with each other and what we understand from today's teaching. In a way, the path for evolution of the science and technology and peace starts from today. Within your soul, with understanding of it, and with those who think they might understand it. But in the coming time, the whole process will be transparent to all as we take steps in Tehran to bring mankind to that point of what we call unification in the universal community while they're amongst us. Would you like to go to a break and we come back and then take questions?
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. So we'll have an interlude here and be back in a few minutes with the rest of the 385th Knowledge Seekers Workshop.
and carry the strength of the field of the planet which came to this creation. And if the soul can understand with the same process, can interact, can be correct, can absorb with itself the totality of the strength of what it needs, it shall become the sun. And then the same soul has the energy that it can absorb within the solar system, within the galaxy, shall become the center of the universe. Earth, we call it the rain, come from, goes back to. In the solar system, we call it planetary system. We come from the rays, we become the planet, and we go back to the mother. The same thing happens with the galaxies, with the solar systems, which they get absorbed back in and they chewed up back into the universe. The life process of existence in the universe is the same. It doesn't matter what exchange and what extent. So, what is the man fighting for? Why do we fight for something which has come from the point of the creation, and in the process it goes back to the creation? The soul of the man, as the energy of the earth, gives the face of the man, the face of the earth, and that process is the same for the soul of the man. Our soul, in reduction in strength, in interaction with the emotion of the field of the environment, leads to manifestation of the existence of the man. But once it's completed, does it need the face? Or can it be and becomes free from it, what we call the soul of the man, to be free and detached from its existence? Our soul is part of the process of the creation. The key to one question for man shall be in the future to be answered. As we saw, the sun became the earth, and as we saw, the earth became man's soul. What would be the destiny of the soul of the man now becomes free at the point of departure from physicality? Would it become the sun for creation of another life, of many lives, or correction of lives? This shall be, and this is how it happens. When you create a soul which is not correct, which is misconduct by itself cannot give, you lead to the creation of this next cycle of creation, which has started the wrong way, the wrong strength. This is one thing the man has never understood. You become the creator of another universe, another cycle. And this is what you have to judge within the structure of the soul of the man. What would I like that cycle to be? In the physical life, we create children. In the dimension of the life of the soul of the man, what that man, what that soul will create If man has thought up to now, that's it, my end, my point, when I die is finished, there's as much fallacy that when the sun is destroyed in any shape or form, there shall be nothing left. But we know the part of the sun becomes part of the galaxy and becomes part of new life. So shall be the soul of the man. The judgment of the man has to be according to what he sees the future his soul can conduct to be. The day of judgment is for the man, not in front of the Creator. That what my soul judges to be and what shall it create. Man never understood and shall never understand till it can solve this dilemma within itself. The reality is very, very, very real. And that is, as we've seen, the energy of the galaxy become the sun, the energy of the sun has become the earth, and the energy of the earth has become the soul of the man. So shall be the soul of the man, which is the energy itself, another cycle of life. How can you change when you don't understand? How can you change the process of understanding if you do not understand the process of the creation? Do we need to extend the understanding of the man that what is the future he brings? We care about our children, what education they get, what they wear, how happy they will be, where they sleep. Now the man has to be careful and consider what life shall my soul create, because those are the children of your soul. As we see, the rays of the sun has become a planet and 7 million children of it. 7 billion unlimited, which is growing. So the soul of the man will go through the same process. How many billions and subdivisions and sub-matter state of the physicality of the man your soul shall create? Would it be the soul of wars and conflict and forever killing? Or would it be the soul of this, let's say, solar system, which is peaceful? This is the truth and the reality about the soul of the man. First of all, as I said many times recently, we never understood that the soul of the man is within the structure of the man. And now that we understood, we understand on departure from the physicality of the man, the same process will carry on as it did for a star, a planet. And the soul of the man becomes another energy source, a higher order, which itself leads to the creation. It becomes the star, it becomes the center of a new cycle of creation. This is what the human race has to understand. The cycle actually starts from the point of death and not finishes at the point of death. In so many ways, if one understands, is as the dusts, specks of dust came together to make the earth in the solar system, so has the specks of the atoms has come to be the creator of the man. And the essence of the creation of the specks of dust of the solar system has led to the creation of the man. So shall be the fields from the soul of the man which lead to creation of another cycle of life. What kind of life man would like to have to be created by the soul? This is the day of judgment. This is what man never understood. Now you have to understand. You have no choice. Up to today you were not aware of it. From today you are aware of it. You are responsible for it.
Your conduct has to be to elevate your soul. That in elevating the soul, what you become the creator of stands correct in the conduct of the synthesis. We don't give fairy tale. This is the truth. But as you've seen, the process does not stop with one sun. The cycle carries on. It's very interesting in how humanity now knows in fact to handle the fact. It'll take decades for man to understand, and then you understand those who become the tools of war, the tools of conflict. They have less, they have nothing to start with. They have to become the dust in the solar systems of the others till the day they learn more, as they cannot create a new cycle through their own soul. This is the elevation of the soul of the man. To be part of the creation of a beautiful life for the next cycle. When you don't have it, you have to become another cell in the body of the structure of the bigger, for you to be just there that you can done when you could have been the soul of the man. They say, do not create fear. I give you the point of love for creation. If you cared about your children on this planet to have the best, your true children come out of your own soul in the coming time. How would you like to educate them? How would you like to be when you are in conflict with yourself and the cause of so much mayhem? This is the truth, and the man will take a long time to understand, as now that we understand the soul of the man is the operator for the creation of the future extent of the life of the man. Whatever is gathered by the soul at the end becomes his point of reference of his own creation of his own dimension. But the strangest thing is, what he creates from his soul shall become the creator of the other souls. This is the beauty about the creation, and one understands it, understands no limitation.
Okay, welcome back everyone to the 385th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, June 17th, 2021. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Are you ready to take on the
Ready,
second
willing,
part
and
here?
able. I hope able, but yes, really.
Well, you've been able up till now, I would say, and done a good job in that sense. I'll remind our attendees they can put their virtual hands up here and we can allow you to speak. And also those in the live stream and YouTube can put questions in corresponding chats. We have a few questions already. We do have a question from Salomia in the Q&A here about only scientists and diplomats can participate in the Iranian teaching. This is the question I think she means in meeting in Iran.
Yes. Primarily the first occasions, yes.
Okay.
and it's by invitation only. Number of knowledge seekers who work with us have already been invited to attend Techno, and we will stay the same.
Okay, very good. Eric had a question: is the Iranian embassy located in the Pakistani embassy in Washington, D.C.?
Iran embassy shall soon be opened up in Washington. Things will go back to normal very soon.
Okay,
Do not be surprised if you see the Iranian embassy open in Tel Aviv in the coming months. We see the place like Tel Aviv, not an embassy of the state of Israel, but the state of Palestine as a whole. So it's not opening two different embassies, it's one embassy covering all. Carry on, please.
okay, there's a question here from Antonio, and we have Salome with a hand up. So Antonio's question is: good morning, Mr. Keshe. My question is, in nature, everything tries to create a balance. So when the stronger virus gives to the plasma and depletes itself, is there then a balance of equal strength between the two? Or does the virus become then weaker than the plasma? I'm trying to understand if the balance is of equal strength, and therefore our body can now heal itself.
The balance is equal, trying to reach equality, balance. And in that process, the amino acid of the body of the man will take its position to be balanced even with the virus energy. This is the beauty of it, because then he uses that energy virus as a food. This is something which we explained from the beginning. And the beauty with this, we had a case very recently, in past 24 hours. One of our senior diplomats was stuck in the third world nation, what we call it, what in Africa. And he's been there for over a week, 10 days, something in that region, over a week. And with the help of the knowledge seekers in Africa, thanks to all of them, we collaborated very closely, and we managed to get the Ganses to pilots actually carrying it as a mission for the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers from 2 different nations across Africa to where we wanted it. The pilots of the country became the transporters of the Ganses and the cups. And it arrived, and the gentleman was tested 9 hours more or less after arrival of the material in his hand by the government. And it's become clear where he was critical condition. This is how we saw international collaboration to Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers. And it was beautiful to see how officials and airlines, where they don't carry nothing illegal to carry, carried gases in big bottles and equipment to be reaching to another man who was suffering from corona and he could have died, to a third world nation, what do you call it, the third nation destination, where he is even a diplomat there. He's not even a native. And we managed to save a lot of headache and a lot of things, and hopefully he'll be returning back to his nation today or tomorrow. And it was amazing to see what he was locked down in a hotel room. he by testing that he was even had all the signs of it, he was free within hours from all the symptoms. He said, my lung, it looks like an ice in it. I can breathe again. I can live again. And I was explaining to him, because he's a professor, I was trying to explain to him in a scientific way that how the system works. But he said, this is magic. I said, soon all these units will be available in Iranian embassies across the planet. Anybody can walk into Iranian embassy and ask help. And this is one of our first missions in going back. And in a way, we saw a beautiful collaboration. When we said in Iran during the Corona time, taxi drivers, lorry drivers were taking ganses to people. We saw pilots from airlines from 2 different nations carrying, because they knew what they carry saves life. And most probably themselves knew many people who are affected. And it balanced the energy, and it became energy. It says, I don't know where the energy came from. I become more powerful, I have more strength. And this is the way it works, it balances it. And in a way, I would like to thank the knowledge seekers who even one crossed one nation to another to make sure it can get a flight to get done. Have endeavored to help another man. They don't know him. They don't have a clue who he is. A very high-ranking diplomat. But the request of the nation we supported, and the knowledge seekers we saved their life. And it's beautiful to see it, how we become changing even international positions of pilots carrying material personally with the instruction of their airlines to another destination to save life of man from corona. And this is another achievement when you serve a nation as one nation. And I was thinking past 2 or 3 days how easy mankind can bend the rules when it comes to help each other. And for international pilots to carry it not in a cargo, but in their cabins, to take these across to save another man's life. I thank all the knowledge seekers who helped us with this venture in the past week. And in a way, it has been a sign of how much and how far the knowledge touches the soul of people in doing things, and how one of the knowledge seekers moved from one country to another to meet a flight, to be able to get it there. I thank all the knowledge seekers in facilitating and delivering such a rapid response in saving a life. Yes, it saves, it balances energy. And the energy, when it's balanced, is available, because to be balanced, one needs to be another, and the solids in between the gans and the virus, and it uses it as an energy because it's its own balanced field. And this is why we see rapid recoveries with knowledge seekers, because the field balance has become food, it's already digested energy within the body, and it becomes part of the what we call recovery. You have already absorbed the energy in. Now your body uses it instead of wasting it for the recovery, because of the fields and the strength of the body itself. Any other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. We have Salamia, the hand up here, and Mehran is next as well. Go ahead, Salamia.
Okay, I was muted. I unmute now. Hello, Mr. Keshe. So nice, and I'm happy that you'll reach our common goal through Iranian teaching, to teach scientists and diplomats. My question was related to this. May I also participate? I was trained as a diplomat, but I'm not working with the Ministry of External Affairs in my country. I'm working with Ministry of Finance. And I choose to teach people about international affairs and politics. And I am a researcher in the international relation field. And second question is about the content and how we can create a balance at international level to democratize this actual geo-governance, which is not democratical at all, is an alliance between multinational and on all security and national defense alliance as NATO, just put all material capabilities to defend the global capital and not the human values and human common values and goods, and to defend our common soul, our well-being as a human being, just to abuse our human nature. Thank you very much.
First of all, thank you very much for offering your services. Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers who are with us, who've been what we call been advised to join us, we have already completed our what we call group to return to Iran. We return as a group of 10 to Iran, and we have people who are in position for a specific application and what we call implications of technology in different fields. And hopefully soon we will be gathered from different nations in Tehran as Keshe Foundation. And regarding the diplomacy and diplomatic levels of what these people do, we do not respond to this because this is the old way. This is how it used to be done. And in a way, diplomacy, the way you see it, you've been brought up, has no room in the present cycle of the understanding of the work of the Keshe Foundation. We do not see playing diplomacy, we're playing technology, science. And diplomats are always being as part of the structure of the what we call scientific work. An American diplomat has power as long as America has a nuclear power and is only the only nation who can dictate it. When we bring a balanced knowledge and technology to all nations, diplomats have not that much value, except humanitarian, because there is no what we call superiority in respect to knowledge to another that it makes you to be a power or a superpower. We become all equal power. I'm not a, what you call, a dreamer. I know what my technology can deliver, and we know what we have got ourselves as an organization into, and how we will deliver and develop this fields of talk and teaching. The old diplomacy at the moment has value as long as you call yourself superpower and you can impose. With sharing the knowledge and the new way which will take shape in our negotiations, even with a 5+1, we're walking away from this situation. The 5+1, as I said, as a diplomacy, because somebody has access to some banks and some has access to some powers which now they're useless, and they call themselves a superior power. Nobody in the new understanding is superior to the other, and this is the beauty of it. And they can do whatever they like. Even if we come to the point of understanding the totality, we still need to understand we're all equal. And this will be very, very hard for those nations who have colonized, who have abused the others. That's the only problem. And when it comes to the financial affairs, when they see their interest endangered, all unified. We've seen in the past 2-3 weeks, and G7 and then now G20 have agreed that all the leading companies who've been avoiding taxes, becoming richer and richer, like multinationals we've seen, now they are minimum taxed 15% at the nation of the resources created, which now means all the wealth of, let's say, company X does not go to one nation, and then after taxation, everything, they get benefit by it. Now all the multinationals, a list of them has been created and accepted by G7 and G20 now, are taxed as whatever they earn in that country at 15%, which means they pay minimum taxes, which allows, for example, Amazon, who sells goods in your country and then takes all the benefits to the United States, is over. They have to pay 15 taxes what they've sold in your country to your country as taxation, which now it brings a share balance. And one of the first steps of the unification of the resources by application of the dimension of delivery at point. You don't pay to Google, ship goods to your country, and then the benefit of it all goes to X country with 0 taxes. Whatever shipped from your country, what you pay from your country, 15% has to be paid to your nation. And we will see more of this. And diplomacy to the power of guns, as it goes away, becomes through financial resources. And this is international diplomacy, the way we see it in the next 5 or 10 years, the way it's been by superiority through colonization or gun policy is a little bit long over. We have no guns to do, and we have no superiority because we all benefit by the same knowledge and same technology. This is not a scientific evolution or revolution. This is a humanitarian, scientific evolution. Which means with it, it brings balance in humanitarian levels of living as much as the science and technology. It takes time for governments not to be called the superpowers, but a government. And then it takes time for those who colonize and abuse to learn they have no more income from their abuse. But don't forget, they have paid so many people and they have created so many servants. That's why you will find out those servants will become the first passengers of the earth. We don't put people in prison. We use them for the knowledge to become the ambassadors in the world. I want to see how much bribes and bank accounts they open on planet Mars, and would the Martians have any value for their currency.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have Mehran next with their hand up here. Hello, Mehran.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Keshe, everybody. well, it was my chance, but I congratulate you for being so fast and so efficient. That's like a dream for us. And I hope these are the results which stay and which are stable, and nobody thinks of bringing things back. And we're ready to go. Thank you very much again. And every other knowledge teacher well. Thank you.
All right, we have an accidental hand raising apparently. Okay, anybody else from the attendees? They can raise their virtual hands for questions. And we have a question in the Q&A from Jukli. It's a GANs and nano question about, it's worried about the nano coating coming off from the copper coil and mixing with the GANs and floating in the plasma water. Is there a possibility of being ingested? And if so, when you have problems with that? I was in the process of answering that I've never seen black pieces floating on the water. I've never heard of that before. And if the copper nano falls off, he was calling it graphene, but it's not graphene so far as I know. It's the copper nano. If it falls off, then it goes to the bottom and would not be ingested, as it would be part of the GANs material that doesn't get ingested anyway. I think you mentioned about that before, Mr. Keshe, but could you clarify anything about that, or do you wish to?
We have seen nanomaterial at the bottom, but if it comes from the copper, it's a copper GANs. So there is something has happened during your nano coating, which you have created the loose layers. So during the process that your voltage changes from positive to negative, where your nano layer become a feeder. And this allows your nano layers to disappear or to come off. Because your nano layer always has to be on the negative side, which pulls power to it. And maybe you have created a condition in your system that it fluctuates between negative and positive. So you have to find out what you've done, where you've done it, and correct it. But it happens if your polarity changes during the operation. We've seen this before. And in the way that the field goes from your nano layer to non-nano layer, and with it will take the materials, because it's the copper atoms which separate at the non-nano coated level, but the nano layers are on top of it. So as they try to get out through the space gap, they loosen the nano layer and they drop off. You actually collect nano layers of copper at the bottom. Should not be used or digested. The South Korean corporation uses this for production of the nano gold layers for electronic developments of what we call transistors. We know of them, we have collaborated with them before. You nano coat a plate, then you reverse current, and the nano layer just comes off in one go. Now you have a nano, this is how we produce nano sheets. Nano sheets where it comes for electronic now, which Keshe Foundation has been part of the operation in the background, is the way we produce it. It's very technical, you cannot do it with a normal way, but you nano coat a large sheet, and then you put in a specific plasma chamber of gases. Then you introduce a specific current, and the whole nano sheet moves away from the copper plate. It's a production technology, and it cannot be done so easy. It needs a specific conditions. But it was developed by us years ago, this. So in a way, part of your process has reverse electric current into it. Another question. You see, when you don't have patterns, you can teach the knowledge, even the technology development, very easily.
We have a question in the YouTube from God's Eye View. Question: in one of the workshops, Mr. Keshe mentioned that most stars are the reflections of one another. What are the stars reflecting off of, and what is the purpose of that object or surface? Thanks.
What we see as reflection is well known in the cosmological world, that not all the stars are real stars, they're reflection. And it happens usually on the outside interaction with the fields of galaxies. The way we have the atmosphere around Earth, and in certain condition, in certain part of this planet, especially it's like in a specific place in Russia, you can go and see, call it the rise of three suns. You see three suns at the same time, and you don't know which one is the real sun, and always the middle one is the real one, the other two are reflection of upper atmosphere, and happens on a specific angle. And this happens when you see it even over our solar system. Some of the stars we see are reflection of another star and create another condition. And even our cosmologists create different combination from it without them knowing what they actually make a combination from, is the reverse process of another galaxy. I see this in some of the cosmological papers when they call such a combination of stars are given a name. But if you literally look into it, the star doesn't exist. It's a reflection of the fields on the upper atmospheric layers of the solar system or our galaxy. They appear as three, and their position is fixed because of the long duration of the motion of the galaxy in the universe, or the solar system in part of the galaxy. This might take, on Earth, we see it for a few hours, the rise of three suns. Go on the internet and look for it, you learn very quickly about it. Then this happens in the universal galaxy system, and two of the stars are fake, but cosmologists don't understand it, and because they're in two different parts of the, what you call our universe or horizon, they have added in a couple of cases these as like what we call the big bear and little bear and the rest of it. They have even included fake stars in these calculations because they don't see it as a star. And you see everything as is happening on the star, the original star. It's very interesting. Man will not fall for this, because there are ways you can say which one is the real one and which one is a mirror effect. And knowing of fake, what we call mirage galaxies and what we call solar system is well known in the cosmological. The only way, one of the only ways they literally can say with it, is if we send what we call like a specific fields to them, we don't get a return because they're not real, they go through. In the future, we'll teach a lot about this, how to assess and which one of them are and how they are. In some cases, they mimic even near to the dimension of physicality because the fields of the reflection become dimension of the field strength of the environment. Even they show themselves as a material state. It's like when you put 2 mirrors, 3 mirrors next to each other, and you look into and you see thousands of yourselves. It's very much on those principles. But in one of the mirrors, the field strength in the plasma is the field strength of the reflection. So it takes a material state shape or dimension. It's very interesting, but in time, we will teach when you come to this, to the travelers of the physical dimension. And you have the same copy, in some cases, in the dimension of the soul as a plasma transfer. You can do that. And there is got a lot of application in it. Any other question?
Mr. Keshe, it's Dean here. Good morning to you and to everybody. Mr. Keshe, you mentioned about the exhibition and we're about to reopen. Can you expand on that some more about what we can expect to see at the exhibition, and will we be having? We
can't hear you. You are breaking.
Can you hear me now, Mr. Keshe?
Yeah, you're breaking up in pieces.
Okay. It may be.
Can you repeat?
I was just saying the exhibition that we have about to recommence. Do you have some further information that you can disclose to say what we will be exhibiting, and will we be expecting some very beautiful guests?
We were there yesterday. It's getting set up. We need a few more weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, maybe more, to set it up, and then till the final shape of things take place. Yes, it will be at the outset. We have a number of people, dignitaries who are coming from around the world, or people who have shown interest for the purchase of the units. They want to see it. Once we set up, they'll be invited. And now that the corona restrictions is getting taken off, will makes it easier for us. It'll open as an exhibition television center and hopefully what we call manufacturing center for the Keshe Foundation. But for next 2 to 3 weeks, we're trying to open it before I leave for Tehran. But I don't see it happening because it needs much more things to be done to it. But primarily the enhancement units have moved there, the vertical units will move in there. The new, we will introduce 2 new types of vertical and horizontal enhancement units in the next few weeks. And they'll all be there. It's a permanent home for Keshe Foundation in Europe as one of our main centers. It is about 1,700 square meters of showroom, exhibition center, and the television center. And we'll announce it in due time. We try to open it for what we call July, August. I will not be here, but you will see how it takes shape. Initially, we'll bring the people who want to see the technology that are part of our structure, and then we open to public hopefully after that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So will there be products there? So we have, let's say, other knowledge seekers that produce products through the foundation. Would they be able to showcase their products? And
we have to look. We have to look. But yes, there's a part of what we call the store will be there. People can buy product Keshe Foundation outside, as we had in the exhibition center. But this time we're trying to sorted out in a different way. We are still looking for knowledge seekers who can work on a full-time basis to welcome the visitors from all over the world, English and German, primarily because we're in a very public area of what we call in Austria. It's a well-known place, and this time we've done all the things to be correct in a way, and then everything you expect from the Keshe Foundation will be there. We use as a conference center. We have the facility to change the arena to a conference center for maybe 300-400 people, live conferences. We don't need to go outside. We have the facility of 100-seat capacity inside the building, and next to us, hopefully September, October, if everything goes right, 7,000 square meter factory will be added to the Keshe Foundation structure.
That's wonderful news, Mr. Keshe. So you say a factory, is that's producing manufacturing goods that obviously developed within the foundation?
Yeah, we only sell goods manufacturing the foundation, but this factory will be what we call, for what we produce for European market. Because China now has got its own factory, and what we call Iran is going into production very soon. We will start producing the power supplies, power energy supplies in Iran. And Mexico, as part of the bigger structure, will go into production of the gases.
Okay.
We are looking for people to work as producers, editors in the television station. We're looking for people who can work within the production and manufacturing of the Keshe Foundation factories. And the knowledge seekers are, we don't need them part, but you have to have what we need. In the past, we accepted people just because they were knowledge seekers. Now we need knowledge seekers who can actually know what they're doing. We have started recruiting people to join us in production, in presentation, and this.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Can I ask one last question, please? Because obviously I've been a knowledge seeker myself for some time, and like all knowledge seekers, you mentioned that opening up of the universal community, and I know that has huge applications and all sorts of implications for the whole of humanity and the knowledge seekers themselves. How do you feel that the universal community will respond to being present with us in, will this be in physicality or in on a soul level?
As we say in English, wait and see. You got to wait and see. Our problem is to primarily what we call work to bring the world leaders, and then it's a bigger struggle. It's not going to be very easy. It's not that it's going to be done with a snap of a finger. These people are used to certain ways of doing it, and we have seen it. We cannot change rules and regulations so simply, in a simple way. And as I said, we have started traveling again around the globe, and we see more and more of the same things we need to change. As the countries are opening up, you're welcome. As the countries are opening up and we are start traveling again, we see the things which needs to be changed. But it has to be changed in a different way than we are used to or we have accepted.
Mr. Keshe, you said everything is going to start to go back to normal. Were you speaking about one particular place, or were you talking about the planet as a totality?
Talking post-corona, talking totally about post-corona, we see things are changing from 1st of July. Many nations are opening their doors again. We're seeing the changes are on the way, and a lot of restrictions have changed.
I think many of us are looking forward to this position where we can travel once more and be present with the whole family. I'm talking about humanity now, so we can travel around freely and enjoy more of the life that many inhabitants have become accustomed to over the years. And it would be nice to go back to some sort of balanced position, as you say, post-corona. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for that.
Welcome. One of the outcomes of this new back to normality, in a way, is that the Romanian conference of 20th of July has become 19th and 20th of July, two-day conference. And the reason for this has been that the Russians and the Bulgarian scientists and knowledge seekers would like to present their new technology. And now, because of their presence in the Romanian conference, it's been extended to two. And 19th and 20th falls on Monday, Tuesday. And for people to be able to get there, and with the new regulations, if we can get the changes, we're trying to change the conference to 17 and 18, Saturday and Sunday. That people around Europe who want to join, they will be able to come. But you have to wait till 1st of July till we see the new changes in regulation in Romania, if the numbers of the attendees can increase and what are the new conditions. And hopefully the Romanian team will increase the numbers to about 200 to 300 if they can do so. And then they have, we have guaranteed to cover if they do not meet part of their expenses. So they try to cover at the simplest way the expenses of the hall, and if you want to have a meal, there are no extra charges in a way. But they have opened the channel of donation that if you're there and you want to donate to the Romanian Keshe Foundation for expansion of the television or whatever, you can do so. But if they do not meet the what we call expense levels, the Keshe Foundation has guaranteed to cover it. So it's the first international conference. It was supposed to be a national conference in Romania, now has become international with the participation of the Russians and the Bulgarian Scientist Keshe Foundation to explain the new discovery papers and the rest of it. And hopefully around or before that time or immediately after that time, as we return to Iran, the first conference, international conference of scientists and politicians in Iran will be announced. We cover the Iranian scientists and politician diplomats first, and then we call for an international meeting, but it all depends what happens as the new president take office as of tomorrow's election. But primarily, everything in the background is ready for a major conference in Tehran. We expect a couple of thousand people around the world to attend the conference, not only knowledge seekers, but mainly from scientific world to see the new change, to understand, and from diplomatic and political world.
Congratulations on that, Mr. Keshe. That's incredible news. And thank you so much for Iran for opening up this technology and for all that you've done, Mr. Keshe, to bring this forward. Relentlessly bringing this beauty. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. The knowledge seekers of Romania will give you the confirmation by hopefully first couple of days of what we call July, to see what the restrictions are and what's the limitation on the number of attendees.
And this, Mr. Keshe, is going to be recorded so that we can broadcast it at some point. Is this correct?
Is Marius in the background? or one of the Romanian team who's setting this up? Or is Babu there who can come and explain to us themselves directly?
Don't see Marius here in the chat.
Pardon?
I don't see Marius in the chat.
You don't?
No.
No, it would be on other channels. But we'll ask them to come in when they know, because they're organizing it. I will be attending this conference on both days. And what we call everything will be as they plan it. And well, I'll participate in sharing knowledge in the afternoon of the first day and possibly second day.
That's great news, Mr. Keshe. And so the Romanians have certain technologies that they've developed through your teachings, and they are in a position they would like to show this technology. Is this correct?
There are a number of countries who have this. We have in Italy the same, we have in Iran the same. We have the same with the Chinese. There's a lot of development in the background in the Japanese Keshe Foundation. Japanese Keshe Foundation had a huge setback after betrayed by the Americans regarding Fukushima, and they are coming them back gradually into the Keshe Foundation rank. They saw it as a betrayal, what happened by an American agent in the clothes of Japanese. And in due course, we will handle that situation.
Looking forward to this, all this, the beauty that's about to unfold before our physicalities. It's very exciting, and I'm sure many knowledge seekers are just in anticipation of what's about to happen, and because of all the period of time that the knowledge seekers have been present and developing the technology, listening to your teachings, the wonderful teachings, and they are eager and awaiting this final transitional period, which is going to be quite magnificent, I know. So thank you once more, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
Well, Mr. Keshe, we don't have any hands up. We've answered all the
That's
questions
good news.
in the Q&A, except there was one question that I sort of dismissed, but I'm not sure if you want to address it. There's actually a 4-part question from the Hispanic group member that has to do with 5G technology and whether it has the ability to condition an immune response similar to that of COVID. And I was talking about, I responded that these are medical questions and they're actually part of the YouTube rules, that we can't really get into the medical misinformation specifically between 5G and COVID, for as an example. But perhaps there's some way you want to approach that. The other questions are, let me just list the questions, I suppose that would be okay. Second question is, does nanoparticles product of chemtrails type sprays to condition an immune response type to that of COVID?
We don't respond to these things. The Keshe Foundation has shown technological development in the butterfly in response to radiation fields. These butterflies are not ordinary, just what you think. They've been developed specifically to absorb high field radiations of what you call a spectrum. And you've seen it on the Keshe Foundation website. These are developed primarily for high frequency, high level of it in what we call like 5G. We use it. Now we used to use the old butterflies. We changed all to the new ones we created. And they are of a specific structure and materials and addition of the enhancement system to them. It's very simple, but we can, if you see fit to put in the house, or see fit to put on the glasses in the house, or put them opposite to each other in the house, or put on your computer or back of your telephone. These are all part of application of a new technology in supporting another advancement in technology and knowledge. As I said, we know, and we have discussed this with the Chinese, of the G8 and G9, where we can transfer energies, we can transfer medicine, we can transfer what you call digital medicine, but through plasma medicine. I was talking to a consultant in this matter in a pharmaceutical, that there are companies getting set up for digital medicine, which is a major breakthrough. So we are in the process of going to 9G and G8, which is the process of the feeding, process of the medication transfer. It's not, it won't be unusual. As we've seen, people cannot go to, like Corona, to the hospitals, but they need to receive medication. And medicine as tablets is going to change. The way we got used to in past 100 years taking tablets, now digital medicine is the next part of the development. And there are organizations who are working in this dimensions, and in a way, Keshe Foundation is getting involved in it, but in the coming time. And if G8, G9 through satellites or communication line can transfer medicine or application of the fields for certain changes in the body to the doctors, your doctor in a clinic can just literally transfer what you need as a field plasma into you, and you can receive it. And this is not something it might happen, it's already in process. And there are a number of organizations who are working for development of this stage. So if that can be done, how can G5 not have or transfer certain energies to us? And we have to understand this, the evolution in science. Maybe we get a lot of things with G5, with G9, which is a combination of the food, energy, medicine, which is on the horizon. It's been discussed 2 years ago in China with us, is the eventual plasma transfer. So if that can interact and give you what you need, so G5 has the same capacities to do, and we can transfer the same kind of energies as viruses through, or would support each other, or coincidentally work with each other. These are the things that the scientists have to evolve and disclose, but digital medicine is on the card and it's getting developed. My son is a consultant in this, and he's just setting it up. I was talking to him very recently. He said this is the evolution in the science which is coming up, digital medicine, and they're involved with it, and they want to bring it up much faster. And Corona has brought this about. And we have the technology where digital medicine can be used in the plasma level. This is much faster and more effective. You will see that in the coming time as we get involved in it in more with the senior consultants in this field. So G5 will have an effect on our body, but what frequency of it matches what frequency of the plasma which can transfer to matter state. It's not all bad. It just depends how you want to develop it and how scientists will bring it about. According to the people who are knowledgeable, within the next 3 to 5 years, digital medicine will be as common as taking tablets and going to doctors. You don't need to see a doctor anymore in a way.
Mr. Keshe, apparently Marius is here now.
Pardon?
Apparently Marius is here now.
Ah.
In the, he's able, I think he's in the...
Hi, Marius. Are you
Yes,
there?
hello, Mr. Keshe. Hello,
Hi, Marius.
everybody.
Hi,
I
Marius.
was listening to the teaching on the Keshe Foundation TV, so I wasn't able to intervene. So I got into Zoom now.
Yeah. Let me first of all explain. Marius is a full-time operation and director of the Keshe Foundation TV, as Neil is the head of the Keshe Foundation, and he's involved in every aspect of the television development with the Keshe Foundation on a full-time basis, and from A to Z of it. And in this conference, if you want it to be transmitted, you have to ask him if they're going to transmit it live. Go ahead, Marius, please.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you, everybody, for waiting for me. In Romania, there are a lot of things happening in the background towards the organization of the conference with the Keshe Foundation on the dates of 19th and 20th of July. So the group that is organizing this event, it's formed by me and Barbu Constantin, together with the Romanian Keshe Association. And now we have invited also Radi Babanu, who is the representative of the Moldavian and Russian group, and he also can have a lot of input here towards the invitations and the people who can attend from the Russian community, especially from scientists, government, and so on. And hopefully we will be able to organize this very, very well towards the invitees that are coming from the neighboring countries and not only. So in the background, we are creating the list for the invitations. We are doing preparations for the banners, flyers, and everything. And things that people who are coming to Romania should know, that you don't stay very much at the airport for corona testing and so on. So it's this process is very, very fast for entering the country. We have established the location. We have at this point 100 of seats with the possibility of extending to 200 or maybe even 300, depending on the interest and depending on how restriction will be after the 1st of July. We hope we will have less restrictions in July. And yes, I hope it will be great interest from other communities as well, because in Romania there's a great interest for and from many people around the country. So if there are any questions or things that I should add, Mr. Keshe?
No, you are here, you know what you're doing, and we are all guests of you.
Yes, so everybody who wants to attend, you can send us messages in the KF representatives group, on the email, on the chat, on Telegram, or all the media channels, and we will be making public an email address if you like to be able to gather all the messages in one single place. For now, if I may, Mr. Keshe.
Are you going to, are you going to put this on recorded for the KF TV?
We would like that if it's allowed.
I don't think there'll be anything wrong with to do it. If you go ahead with it and organize it.
Yes, we have a team ready in the background, and we will take care of this as well. Of course, it's a great interest, and it will be an important event for not only for Romania, but for this region of Europe as well. So it will be very, very nice to be recorded and have it on the Keshe Foundation TV.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Let's see if anybody has any question for you. Any questions?
Don't see any right now.
Will be promoted on the Keshe Foundation website once everything is done, and on the television.
Mr. Keshe, it's Dean again here. Can I ask, for people that are participating, is there going to be accommodation supplied, or is it going to be the same situation where you have to find your own accommodation?
Can you answer that question?
Marius, do you know if there's going to be anything to for people, where anywhere for people to stay, or what they can expect to once they book in to the conference?
We will have this sorted out depending on the number of the people that are interested. We have a few things in plan, but I would go directly for the people that are interested and contact us directly, and we'll sort this out for them. Of course, there are a few solutions at this point, and things will be more concrete in the next few days or weeks.
Okay, thank you. I've just seen in chat that someone's asked if there would be if they could join through Zoom. Would there be a link for this, please? That was Hercules Fishman was asked.
What? Can you repeat?
Hercules Fishman has asked, would there be possible to join the conference via Zoom? Is there a link?
No, we will not do that. No, I do not think so, because then we have to be limited in what is said, and then YouTube and everything else comes into it. We want to keep it open, scientific, and for that reason, maybe in the future, after editing, will be some parts, but we want it to be open, scientific. We don't have to worry about what it goes online and could be jeopardizing other parts, because the live conference, we have no control over what is presented in a way.
So we can record it, Mr. Keshe, we can have cameras there, we can record it and then edit and then put it.
It'll be recorded by the Romanians. They're capable. They've already done the first interviews, scientific interviews. They have all the possibilities, and most probably part of the Keshe Foundation, what do you call it, recording television equipment can be taken to Romania and brought back if need be, if they cannot supply themselves.
Yep.
Mr. Keshe, can we also have live sessions with parts of the conference?
That's your decision.
Okay.
You have to decide.
Okay.
As long as you can control it with the live sessions, as long as you can control it and do not jeopardize the rest of the Keshe Foundation setup with the YouTube and the other organizations. You got to realize we have to be, in a way, the priority is to protect all the assets of the Keshe Foundation recordings and all the channels. And we cannot allow this to happen unless we have full control over it. That nothing can go wrong in a way by wrong information for some people trying just to be smart. Yes, it can be done.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Yes, of course, everything will be organized together with you and with your knowledge.
Yeah, you don't need, you have a team which works with you. They are responsible for it. As long as the parameters of the security of all the recordings and the channels of the Keshe Foundation are there, we don't see any, maybe the situation changes in the future, but we've seen how easily with one word. Nowadays is an excuse to create mayhem in different parts. We don't want to get involved in that kind of things at this moment of time.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. In due course, we will announce sometime maybe this year or next year a major conference in China. This is our plan. This will be done in conjunction with the scientists from Iran and as part of the CEBU. This is on our discussion table, and in the future we will announce a major conference between the scientists of two nations on the space development technology. But this is a lot of work to get the Chinese to do so, but on the other hand, it's part of the openness we're trying to pursue. Any other question?
Yes, we have a hand up with Hercules Fisherman. Can you open your mic, Hercules, and go ahead? Must be having a problem with unmuting the microphone. I'm asking to unmute, but it's, oh, wait a minute, there we are.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you now.
Oh, well, thanks, Mr. Keshe, and everyone participating in this session. Well, I did ask that question, so apparently not possible to join the conference remotely in this manner. So you've answered that, but yeah, thanks for it. That was when I put my hand up, but I put the question in there as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Any other question, or shall we call it a day?
Well, we're fresh out of questions. First time ever, I think, Mr. Keshe. So perhaps we need to give you a break.
There was one thing I wanted to ask. There was a report about the two-dimensional particles that is discovered, at the lower level of dimensions. Is that the sort of thing for, you're talking about the two-dimensionality of the physical presence, and so is that related to that in some ways?
I don't know what you're talking about. I heard something very recently on that front, but I don't know what it's about.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can't make any comment.
I know much less myself, so I
can't. Thank you very much. There is I will explain to you, people don't know Hercules in the background. Hercules is from UK, and he's an art exhibitionist and highly connected in different circles in England. The beauty with the new exhibition center in Austria is what we're talking this week, is that if any artist uses the GANS technology to produce paintings, pictures, or whatever artwork, we will exhibit your work in the exhibition center.
That's great. What I like to do is, because I do this these paintings which are Sumi paintings. So like Sumi comes from that, it's a very ancient kind of recipe of ink that has been developed over long previous centuries, whatever, and the inks are solid inks that you grind, and the kind of carbon is mainly black, but the black has different hues of colors due to the preservation process that sometimes takes years, centuries. Am I there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. And it would be good to perhaps you develop some kind of ink that is like from the nano ink, if you like, that is black or has hues of colors that are that nanoparticle based. That would be quite good to. I would be interested in developing something like that that could be used as a medium to paint.
You can use different color of gases, and not only black. Like because I know an artist who used to do paintings. I can't remember. Is it in France or United States?
Yeah.
Now the artists people who want to exhibit their artwork using the gas technology, we give you a ground in a new center and maybe introduce your work internationally.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to, because I do these live paintings. So I even do them I've been running different shows, and I draw live with ink, brush and ink on paper. So that this kind of technology would lend itself to to that kind of medium, and also developing different colors that are GANs based to be quite interesting.
Yeah, but the difference between this kind of painting and the others like Picasso is you enjoy the vision, but the fields of these gases reaches your soul. So you receive both effects at the same time.
Absolutely.
When you paint, this is what we were explaining. When you paint with gases, you reach 2 dimensions of what we call both the physicality and the soul, as the field of these paintings are always within the room. And you can choose in a way what kind of paints you use to create different interactions. There's a whiteboard in the back. Who's created it? It's not from my side. It needs to be taken out.
We're trying to switch back over to KFTV, but we're having some difficulty there. So
okay.
Sort that out. Dean.
Okay.
Perhaps, not sure if I can share the whiteboard and make the transition that way. Let's try that.
Yep. No. Okay. Flips back. Yeah, flips back onto the whiteboard. Somebody is switched in there.
That was
Rick.
And there we are. I think you managed to do it.
I was deliberately trying the whiteboard to try to get back to his screen. And
all right.
Yeah.
Well, that's.
Are you? Oops, I
Can
see
you put
that he's the KFTV's cut out temporarily. He's just come back as a participant.
No problem.
So I think it's good to have a product for like that artists could use as a kind of series of GANs pigments.
We can do that. We can produce such a thing and introduce it. Yes, is something we have considered before, and mainly in water painting and oil painting.
Yes, it can. The mediums that it suspense, you can have acrylic, which is PVA mixed with, and oil-based, which is like mixing with oil, and then water-based that's soluble in water. And it's got to be finding whether the GANs is hard, would the colors depreciate, and what's those kind of things, because GANs are probably more durable than normal pigments, I guess. Maybe
due to the energy effect of them, they change color without you knowing.
Right.
As we see in the gas bottles. You painted the orange and next day it's green.
Right.
We don't know. We just got to see.
Right.
Because these are live entities, are live energy fields. And they're dynamic. So we expect to see changes of color most probably.
Well, there is the same thing happens with the Sumi ink, because they have color black. In fact, that is Sumi means in Japanese means black. and the black has hues of all the other colors. And sometimes, you know, it's like when you drop an oil on water and you get to see the rainbow of colors happening. It's that has, you know, those inks are quite magical in nature in itself. So it could be a combination of that, and the inks are like when they make the inks and then they store them for hundreds, sometimes tens to maybe, like, you know, you have an ink that is block of ink that's 100 years old, and it's because of the aging process, it has different qualities. So the colors could go from green to yellow in different concentrations, or even hues of different colors.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Hercules.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
That's great. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
I think that's it, Mr. Keshe.
That's it. We call it a day. And hopefully we'll have a good understanding of what it is. All our teachings all the time does not have to be scientific. Sometimes it has to be at the level that we understand what is to come up, what is about to be part of our work and part of our lives. And today's was important as we enter a new, what we call era, with the political, scientific way which the Keshe Foundation will be presented in the coming weeks internationally. We hopefully be able to share some of the teachings live from Tehran, if the officials organize and allow us to do so. And maybe part of the conference of Tehran will be live transmitted worldwide. We'll see how to come and how we'll succeed in sharing the knowledge to prepare man to become part of the universal community. Thank you very much, Rick.
Mr. Keshe, there was a hand up that I should acknowledge.
You missed?
Yeah, I missed. It was from Jefferson. So maybe we can allow one final quick question here too. I don't like to overlook a hand up.
Okay.
Hello, Rick. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Jefferson.
Hi. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Keshe. And it's always an honor to talk to you. It's a very nice opportunity. And I would like to bring a point about that we were saying before about the universe and the unicus are changing position slowly, but they are moving and bringing to the solar system a different push and pulls throughout the magnetic and gravitational field of them. And you've been receiving this here in our planet, inside our planet and is inside ourselves. I'm just brings the knowledge that I'm trying to understand. And this positioning, is it facilitating the communication throughout the universe with the other souls, not only outside in our solar system, but as well as inside our own beautiful planet? And is this facilitating our elevation of our soul? Because I don't know if I have the wrong view, but inside of us, all of us are mitras. If you can interact with this energy that is coming from different repositioning from the universe, is that correct to think like this? I don't know.
We gain energy, or we receive fields from all dimensions of the universe, not only Earth, not only from the soul of those who have been here. We have a full spectrum of abilities to receive everything from every corner of the universe. We are connected to them in one way or another. Part of we are the creator of, part of we are created out of. And so there is no, what you call limitation in is somebody or people from this planet or from the fields of this planet or from another universe. Magnetic fields never die. And in that process, they're always divided. And if you go up that ladder, as we have explained in the teaching before, that what you call the process is very simple, and that is, if you understand it, and we explained this many times before, that if you're in this position, you are created out of the interaction of two fields somewhere. If I can do it in a different color. And this position itself is created or leads to the creation from two others, which yours is one of them. And the same will carry on. In a way, there's always another which divides itself into another position. So we are continuously divided and created out of interaction of two fields, which leads to another. In essence, if you go backwards, we all came from the Creator. This could be a field from the Earth, this could be a field from Jupiter, and this could be a field from another universe. As our plasma is what we call a spiral in the strength, any of these can fit in any part of this structure. The biggest question for knowledge seekers or for humanity is this: where did this origin came from? Which radiates the field, which in its interaction with itself and the division of itself in so many ways led to the creation of the totality of the universe. Or in a way, what we consider has the interaction of the field of itself with itself in so many ways of two different strengths of the spiral has led to what we call the original life, the original creation, which we call Mitra. In so many ways, where is the beginning and where is the end? And in so many ways, where does it start? In so many ways, mankind will reach to the point of understanding the totality of itself. And in so many ways, would mankind will ever understand this position. Did we come from interaction of two to feel the strength of the Creator, that in the interaction of it led to the creation of the first life of difference. But still, where did this origin came from? Because in so many ways, interaction of the fields has led to the new cycle of life, new what we call process of creation. But what led, or where does the origin field comes from, and what led to interaction of the field of the origin to lead to the creation of the next cycle. But the biggest problem, or the biggest question for not only mankind, but the universal community is, if the origin was created at this position, how did it come to expand in the universe? And how come that if there is such expansion in such a universe, where is the origin of the totality, that it gives that room for the origin of the creator to release its fields, that in interaction of the fields with each other lead to creation of a new life in what we call a new soul? Or is it from the interaction of the what is taken and what is given at different strength, that in that process a new life has been created from the interaction of the gravitational and magnetic field of the same field? And this is the biggest mystery which universal community and the universal intellect has not managed to answer it yet. And it's not only confined to comprehension of the man. And how vast is this origin here in the center that has, through its division, become the creator of the universe? If you can manage to measure the energy of how many calories you use per day, or you get from a product, or you get from an interaction of whatever, then you put all these energies and calories together, and then put all these energies and calories as you put together in the field and dimension of the universe and universe, and then gather what would be the totality of all the galaxies and universes together, that was the creator, came from the creator. This is the mystery that you have not managed to answer yet. And in any case, as we've seen the division of the interaction of, then we see the scientists telling us that the universe is so many billions of years or trillions of years old. Then, do we have enough knowledge to put the age limit on the creator, as our universe is part of a universe down the ladder of the creation? Where did the next cycle started from, that its interaction or reduction is led to creation of our universe? And then, as I said, the question comes, how much has it been at the beginning within the creator, that after creation of all these universe, and then galaxies, and then few bits of energies, which become the cell of the body of the man, in total has been? What is the field within center of our creator? But where has it come from to become the creator? The origin of the field, the origin of the creation, which led to the creation of the creator. How much do we know? And how much do we want to expand the knowledge? In the framework of the religion, we have no answer. In the frame of science, we can find some answers, which answers the questions within the religions and the faith. But still, mankind does not have the answer. We call it God, we call it every other name you want. And we are, as an individual, a speck of dust of a dust. Then how big is the totality that as a speck we are here as a human being for a time? What is the energy embedded within the creator? That is that creation of the universe. And as I said, if is the creator to the limit of understanding of the man, then what's the space is given? And if it's space given, must be another dimension of the creation within it that has created that space. Then it comes to the origin of the creature, what we call the creator of the creators. Then do we call that the creator, which is led to the speck of dust of it, to what we up to now consider to be the creator? Or do we call the creator the origin? But where does it come from? To possess so much, and this division, billions and trillions of stars can be created in one spot. And we are connected to all of it. Thank you very much for today. One day we'll answer this question, when the humanity is ready to understand the totality. Thank you very much, Rick. See you next week.
Very good, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you. Good day.
Okay, that wraps up the 385th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, June 17th, 2021. Our next public workshop would be One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace, coming up Tuesday of next week, which will be June 22nd. That's at 8 p.m. No, that one's at 4 p.m. Central European Time. Okay, thanks everyone for your questions today and for attending today's workshop. And we'll see you next week at the same time and place. Bye for now.
innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge in a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GANS plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced, energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered, which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection, as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists, and healthcare centers. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information. Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. KesheFoundation.org/donate.